Yo, what's up? Y'all already know what it is. I am that boy Box. This is Rough House Boxing TV. And thank y'all for stopping back by the house, man. Yeah. Hey, before I start, gotta send a shout out, salute to the LDBC, Lions Den Boxing Community. Want to thank y'all, like I said, for stopping through. And we're gonna do a little breakdown prediction for a couple of the upcoming fights this weekend. Before we get started, man, y'all do me a favor, man. Wipe your feet, close the door behind you. Come on in, man. That means smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't. That's what's up. Hey, share this to your social media platforms and let everybody else know how it's going down here at the house, man. But yeah, we, as some of you may know and some of you may not, we got a pretty loaded fight card this weekend between the Canelo Alvarez Rocky Fielding card, and then we got a card on ESPN with Gilberto Ramirez versus Jesse Hart, which is a rematch for, I believe it's the WBO super middleweight title. Yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get in it. We'll start out with Gilberto Ramirez versus Jesse Hart. Now, Ramirez comes in with a record of 38-0-0 with 25 knockouts. Stands 6'2.5" tall with a 75-inch reach. And as always, got my notes, you know. All right. Going to the good, the bad, the ugly. Start with Ramirez. He's got a good left hook. That's what he dropped Hart. He dropped Hart with the first time they fought. This is actually going to be a rematch. He's got a decent jab. He's got good head movement and good use of feints. He's got a good body attack. That's his primary mode of offense is the body attack. He's got a good straight left to go with that. He's a pressure fighter. Has good short combos. He shows evidence of ability to punch and step around. I saw him do that a time or two in some of the fights that I was checking out of his. He will throw punches in bunches. Good left uppercut. And he's got a good chin. And that was kind of evidence in the Alexis Angulo fight that he had. Angulo hit him with some nice shots, you know, flushly. And he took them. And he's got good power in the right hand, too. All right, we'll go to the bad. Slow to average hand speed. Head movement over-exaggerated and timeable at times. Let's see. Not the best at fighting from outside. It seems like his best work comes when he's in the phone booth, in close and tight to the opponent. Jab is not consistent or sharp. Let's see. Head is on the center line when punching, especially when he's jabbing. Doesn't show good use of angles. He's normally straight, right in front of his opponent. Less accurate against good movers. That's pretty explanatory. And I'll piggyback with that by saying this. The first fight I watched of his was the first fight against Jesse Hart. And then from there, I went to the Angulo fight. And he looked like a totally different fighter. When I say different, I mean better. But Angulo was right there to be hit. Angulo's movement and footwork, in my opinion, is worse than Ramirez's. So and he wasn't as accurate when he fought Hart the first time. A lot of missed punches. All right, now we'll go with Jesse Hart. Jesse Hart comes in. And Ramirez is a southpaw. Forgot to say that, but he is a southpaw. So Jesse Hart comes in with a record of 25-1-0, and that one came from Ramirez in their first fight. 21 KOs, 6'3", 77.5-inch reach, and he's an orthodox fighter. onto the good. It's got good lateral movement, moves around the ring, rather well. It's got a nice jab, nice use of feints, a nice counter left hook, and a straight right. Both of those punches look pretty good. Uh, Evidence of him fighting off the back foot pretty well. He's got a good counter punch game. Does his best work from range, meaning from the outside, with that jab and working off the jab. That seems to be when he's at his best. And above average hand and foot speed. Now to the bad. Not heavy-handed. Doesn't really sit down on shots. Ducks his head into shots. When I was watching the first Ramirez Hart fight, Hart did a lot of ducking, a la Tyson Fury. And kind of in that mode. And a lot of ducking, and a lot of times he got kind of timeable and he ducked right into shots from Ramirez. Misjudges range at times. A lot of times he throws punches from too far away. Winds up being in that kill zone. And, if the opponent has good quickness and good hand speed, he's susceptible to get caught with a shot while he's in that kill zone. Let's see. He has loads of inactivity. That was something that I noticed in that first Hart Ramirez fight. There was like minutes of action where he was just kind of there, not throwing punches. He was either, moving around the ring and not throwing punches, or when Ramirez was able to get inside to his body and work, he would just cover up in the shell, put on the earmuffs or whatever the case is, and he would just be there. Not a lot of activity in those spots. See, he's more of a finesse than a physical fighter. He's a pot shotter, meaning he likes to throw one shot, two shots, and that's the case. Not a lot of punches and bunches. And he lacks that inner dog. He doesn't seem like the guy that's out there to get the opponent out of there, to take the opponent's head off. It's like he's just out there to hopefully win and outpoint his opponent. Now, he does have 21 KOs, but even with that, I still didn't see that dog in him. All right, so keys to victory, and we will start with Ramirez. Needs to have good movement. He needs to establish an effective jab and straights to the body. He needs to have sharp combos that end at the body. I think that's going to be what takes the juice and the stamina and the petrol out of Hart. He needs to look like he did against Alexis Angulo. Like I said, he looked like a totally different fighter when he fought Angulo. Get out here real quick. All right, and on to Hart. Keys to victory for Hart. He needs to be accurate with the jab. His counterpunch game must be on point, because there will be opportunities for counterpunching. He needs to control range and distance, and he needs to do that with that jab. He needs to move and keep the opponent from being able to set. Ramirez is one of those opponents that seems like he has to be directly in front of his opponent and have his feet set and everything before he can throw effective punches, or else it's just going to be a bunch of sloppy lunging punches. And I saw that as well in some of his fights. Really, dude? You just gonna jump out in front of me like that? Okay. All right. All that being said, I've got Ramirez by unanimous decision. I think it's gonna go out 12 again. I don't know if Jesse Hart has enough to keep Ramirez off of him and keep him away from his body, where Ramirez was able to shine in the first matchup that they had. The fact that he doesn't sit down on his shots, and his shots don't seem to have a lot of pop and oomph, I don't think that Ramirez respects his power, And I think Ramirez is going to take what Jesse Hart gives and walk through it until he can get in tight and get his work off. So yeah, I got Ramirez by unanimous decision over Hart, and Ramirez retaining his title. All right, now let's go to Canelo Alvarez versus Rocky Fielding. That one is going to be on the zone. Okay, that's crazy. I guess that was a deer just ran across the street. All right, Canelo Alvarez comes in with a record of 50-1-0. We know that one came from Floyd Mayweather Jr. He's got 34 KOs, stands 5'8" tall with a 70.5-inch reach. He's an orthodox fighter. Some of the good for Canelo: good hand speed, good jab to the head and to the body. I like when he does that jab to the body or that straight to the body, whichever. Both of those are very, very crucial in taking the opponent's wind away from him. He's a good counter puncher, and we know that there was evidence of that in his most recent fight against Golovkin, their rematch. He has good hooks to the body, right and left hooks to the body. That left hook is a beast, but the right hook is good too. He's got a good body attack. He does sit down on shots, and he is okay at being elusive. I saw evidence of him being able to slip shots and counter. That him being able to slip shots in most cases sets up his ability to counter punch. So he transitions, rather well from offense to defense. Has hard uppercuts, and he will press the action, which was also evident in the Triple G fight that he just had most recently. All right, on to the bad. He is short. He's going to be fighting uphill in this fight against Rocky Fielding. Slow feet. He's never been fleet of foot. Gasses in later rounds. He did a better job of that against Canelo, but even in that fight, there were times when he had to take a round off or whatever, man, so he could get back some snaps on the petrol, as Marlo and Trey X like to say. Has problems with very athletic fighters. And I'm not saying that Rocky Fielding is the most athletic fighter, but that is something that Canelo does have problems with, a la Floyd Mayweather. But then again, who is Floyd Mayweather? Let's see. Head stays on the center line in a lot of the times that he's punching. Hasn't KO'd anybody since 2016, and that was Liam Smith. He KO'd him. It was a TKO in the 9th round of that fight. And he is susceptible to body attacks. He gives up the body. All right, now on to Rocky Fielding. Rocky Fielding comes in with a record of 27-1-0. And his one loss, if I'm not mistaken, was from Callum Smith. Has 15 KOs. He's an orthodox fighter. BoxRec did not list his height and reach, so I don't have that info to give. So I got long, rangy fighter. He's got a nice jab. Has nice combos. He's got a nice right hook. And fights pretty decently from the outside and intermittently, in intermittent range. And he's got a nice counter left hook. So he's got pretty good hooks on him. That was something that I noticed. Also, he's got a pretty good straight right too. I didn't write that down, but I do remember that. He's got a good straight right. Let's see, on to the bad. Very little head movement. He's primarily a straightforward and back fighter. Not the best inside fighter. That's why I listed above in his good column that he's a pretty good long range and intermediate fighter. But the inside fighting, not so much. And that's where Canelo is going to want to be. That's where Canelo is going to want to take this fight, is in the phone booth. Not a devastating puncher. Lets fighters into his chest. Doesn't sit down on his shots often. Not good use of angles. He's another one. So this fight is going to be pretty interesting because both fighters, based on past evidence, are going to be right there in each other's face for each other to try to throw shots at. Now the telling tale is going to be, will Fielding be able to keep Canelo outside the range and the distance between the opponents? That's going to be what tells the fight. Who controls that? What else? Hand and foot speed slow. All right, now let's go to keys of victory. For Canelo Alvarez, he is going to need to press the action. I highly suggest that he take the fight to Rocky Fielding. Although Rocky Fielding is a counterpuncher, he is the type that fighters are able to get into his space, you know, into that up close area. He's got to get inside, do good body work. He needs to be elusive. If he can slip those jabs that Rocky Fielding is going to be throwing at him, there'll be ample opportunities for counterpunching. And his counterpunch game must be on point. Okay, and for Rocky Fielding, he's got to have a strong, accurate, effective jab. And he needs his jab to be all three of those in order to gain Canelo's respect, to be able to frustrate Canelo. His jab has to be strong, accurate, and effective. It can't be weak, it can't be slow, it can't be pawing, and it can't be a jab that doesn't connect to the target. He's got to keep Canelo on the end of that jab. He needs to be able to control the range with that jab. And see, the jab is going to be a primary focal point for Rocky Fielding in this fight. He's going to have a good straight right off of that jab, because if his jab connects and his jab is effective and his jab works, then he'll be able to stick that 1-2 in there. And if he has a good straight right off of that jab, then it may pay dividends for him. His movement and footwork is going to have to be stellar, because if Canelo does bring the fight to him and try to get into his body, he's going to have to move his feet to be able to avoid that. All right, now, all that being said, I got Canelo by TKO 9th round. The reason I didn't say KO is because there's been a lack of evidence of Canelo KOing anybody. Like I said, since 2016 in the Liam Smith fight, he hasn't KO'd anybody since then. I believe that he will be able to get into Rocky Fielding's chest, because I really don't believe Rocky Fielding is going to hit him with anything that's going to gain his respect. And I think he's going to slip some shots and walk through others. And he's going to be able to get in to Fielding's body and get that work off. So, yeah, that's what it is, man. I got Canelo Alvarez and I've got Gilberto Ramirez winning their fights. But, yeah, y'all know what it is. I am that boy Box. This is Roughhouse Boxing TV. And comment, like, subscribe, share this to your social media platforms. Hey, shout out to the whole LDBC. The fight, the Ramirez Hart fight is going to be on ESPN tomorrow. If the fights are going to be called on Marlo's Corner, which they normally are, you can catch me over there at Marlo's Corner, you know, on the panel, giving good in-between round breakdown, analysis, scoring, that kind of thing. And y'all come on over to the corner, man, Marlo's Corner. If you haven't subscribed, go over there and subscribe. Check out what they got going over there, man. Once you watch a fight called by Trey X and Marlo, man, y'all will never watch a fight the same. Guarantee it. That's what's up, man. Let me go ahead. I got some snaps for the petrol in the vehicle, man. I got to put some petrol in the ride. So I'm going to get it all, y'all, man. And once again, shout out to the whole LDBC. Oh, also big shout out to the homeboys, legendary Top Cats, El Finici, Chris Rayner, El File Player, BFTB, Best Fight the Best, Main Boxing Biker, and everybody else that rock with us heavy, man, over there on the corner, man. See y'all tomorrow night. The good Lord say the same. And y'all go ahead and get on out the house now. Yeah.